Good morning, Lion fans, and welcome to episode number 2 of the Roar Down. I'm Mike Ezekiel today. Benjamin Ray unable to be with us this week, but he will be back next week. So today I'm joined by Grant Wakefield. And Grant, another exciting episode. We had Coach Dearman on last week to kind of introduce the team, introduce what's going on in spring football for UNA football. Had a great guest in Josh White, one of the new players. We'll have another new player today. Running back Chris McMillan's going to join us today. We're going to hear from both of our coordinators as well, as there's a lot of exciting buzz, Grant, and a lot of it's due to these coordinators.
Absolutely, and it's been a full opening week of spring ball for North Alabama, and they've got out on the practice field. You see both schemes. We'll talk of that with both coordinators as well. Should be a fun day.
Yeah, the pads are on. We're excited to go through it. We're going to have defensive coordinator Clint Bowen. He's going to join us first, and then right after that we'll have Travis Partridge and Chris McMillan. Be right back right here on the Roar Down. All right, Lion fans, welcome back to the Roar Down episode 2 as we take an inside look at UNA football. Spring ball is here. The pads are on. We're ready to go. A lot of buzz in the building right now, and we got a new defensive coordinator that's with us today over from Oklahoma State. Spent a lot of time at Kansas. That's where he met Coach Dearman. Clint Bowen. Clint, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be here at UNA, and I'm ready to, continue on with spring ball.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you as well. And before we dive into football, we're going to talk to both coordinators about this, but it's kind of a family affair right now. You see all the families kind of at the practice field. But for you, it's a little different because yours is wearing shoulder pads playing on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, we've kind of continued this unique journey that we've been on. I got out of college coaching when he was a freshman in high school, so I had the opportunity to coach him for 4 years in high school. And then just kind of on a almost a dumb luck situation, we both end up at Oklahoma State together. And then following up here when Coach Dearman recruited him here, he was on his way here before I was, and so it just kind of the strange journey continues.
And Coach, let's kind of talk about that. He came on his visit that got you connected with Coach Dearman and brought you here to North Alabama. Why North Alabama?
Well, for him, it was a good fit opportunity to play for Coach Partridge, play for Coach Dearman, and then in college football with the portal world right now, especially at the quarterback position, it's a very unique setup. It's the way guys move. So this was a great opportunity for him to come here and be a part of this program. And then I've maintained contact with Coach Dearman since I guess 2018-19 range, and this opportunity to coach came up, and just I know his energy and the way he works, the way he runs his program. So just a good situation, a good opportunity to be in something to be a part of. So excited about taking that job.
This is a lot of fun to talk about with Banks Bowen, quarterback, now playing under Travis Partridge as a quarterback. And just want to talk about you two guys. It seems like you already have a really good rapport, a good relationship with the whole staff, but just hearing y'all two interact, I'm sure it's got to feel good knowing that your son's playing for somebody that you get to interact with every day.
Yeah, college football is a tough business. I mean, you look at anyone's resume, most of the time they ain't choosing to move their families all over the country because it seems like it's a fun thing to do. I mean, this is the real deal. You win and you keep a job, you lose, you get fired, and you move. But all along in all those situations, you got to try your best in any job you take to find the opportunity to work with good people, people that you're going to enjoy being around on a day-to-day basis. Because this job is it's a really tough one, and if you're working with people who you can't get along with, the magnitude of how miserable your day can become in this environment can be bad. So yeah, being around people who want to do things the right way, who want to treat people right, who want to treat the players right, it's something that I've got older in my career that I really look for when I kind of try and make those decisions of what I want to do and where I want to coach.
Coach, you were hired on January 28th. You've been here about a month and a half or so. Walk us through this last month and a half. What's it been like, kind of the install leading into spring ball?
Well, you go through the run now where it's, bottom line is it's just roster management nonstop early to try and, one, recruit your own team and keep your own players on the team, and then to go find other guys who have entered the portal, so you're dealing with every, roster management's a big part of that early on. And then, when you're then when you bring all those guys together, they don't know each other. We're all like basically I'm a stranger to them. They're strangers to each other. I mean, everyone's, like kind of said, most of our kids got here about the same time I did. And so, just trying to find ways to encourage your kids to spend time with each other, to talk to each other, to get to know each other. It's a big part of this portal era in building a team. The old days, freshmen would live in a dorm for a year before they ever played, and your team was together for 4 or 5 years. Guys knew each other. Well, guys don't know each other now. I mean, I promise you right now, there's guys on our team that don't know another teammate's names. And, I mean, we're not unique in that situation at North Alabama. That's the way the world of college football is right now. There's just guys are playing together that don't know each other, and I kind of laugh all the time, everyone breaks things down on things like family, and I'm like, well, do you know your brother's name over there? And he won't know him, It's like well, we ain't quite there yet, But everyone's going through it. So, and then you got to get into football. You got to teach guys your schemes, your systems, teach them the game that come from different places. So that there's a lot of stuff that happens in a really short amount of time.
There's nothing better in that feeling out phase that you're talking about than putting on the shoulder pads, actually being able to hit each other a little bit, do a little scrimmaging. It's kind of the phase that we're at now in spring ball, and you guys are going to go later today. But let's run through this defense a little bit and what you've learned so far, just position by position, starting with the defensive line. What have you seen up front so far? Obviously, Jaheim Ingram, one of the returners, but a lot of new faces, especially a lot of transfers from Memphis.
Yeah, we do. We have, really across the board, I think a lot of guys who were not here last year, which is, brings the uniqueness in there. When you go through the portal era, your install's brand new to a lot of guys. So every guys are hearing your terminology, they're hearing your expectations. How do we tackle? How do we do this? How do we take on a block? What's this call? And so they're hearing all that for the first time. And then at the different part of that, you got some guys that came from programs that they were really well coached and had this. Some are older, some are younger. There's a lot of degrees in there. So you're just trying to mesh all that together. And D-line wise, we're fortunate that we were able to get some guys who have played some college football, some veteran guys. You got Mon Cole and Nevels and Josh White and Benton who've all come over. And then some returning guys like Jaheim Ingram and Avery Howard to be in that mix on there. He's a special player. He's a guy who, I've told him if he doesn't lead the conference in sacks, then I should be fired because he's a kid that has that kind of ability. D-line wise, we're fortunate to have quite a few pieces in there. I think we're 13, 14, which is good because those guys need to roll and play and, they keep the snap numbers down on those guys so they're playing fresh. So D-line wise, we were able to get a pretty good group.
And, Coach, let's kind of walk us through what's the North Alabama defense going to look like this season?
Well, we're putting that together. there's a lot of different ways you can line them up, and none of it really matters if it doesn't fit the kids' skill sets and your best players aren't on the field. I grew up in the age. I remember Gunther Cunningham took over the Kansas City Chiefs, and they had Derek Thomas, who's one of the best pass rushers in NFL history, and Gunther has him dropping in pass coverage all the time, and he got beat up for that pretty bad. So, you got to find ways to get your best players on the field doing things that take advantage of their skill sets, and we're working through that right now. The great answer every fan wants to hear from the D coordinators, we're going to blitz them. It's everyone's message board deal. We got to blitz them. Like, okay, you got to cover them too, So we're going to do the things that fit our players. We're going to do the things that they're capable of doing. We will be multiple. Offenses have gotten so complex, and they're so good at what they do on the offensive side of the ball. If you line up, in my opinion, and just say, here we are, unless you're just physically physically better and more talented, you're going to lose that matchup. So there has to be some deception. There has to be some changes. You have to be able to give them a variety of looks. And, like I tell our kids all the time, we really don't have to beat anyone but the quarterback. If you just got to fool that guy and trick that guy a little bit, and then make the OC not know what you're in, and be sound. Don't lose games. And so, if the one things that you have to count on, you have to be a physical team. You have to tackle, and you have to tackle with violence. You have to put people going the other direction. You got to play hard, and you can't give up big plays. Like if you make teams earn it and you play physical football, during the course of the game, things kind of work out.
Love to see physical football. It reminds me a lot of the Purple Swarm and what they did back in the day. Coach, kind of as we wrap up here, let's talk about that coverage you were talking about and the guys that are going to be doing that. Talk about the secondary a little bit, and even touch on the linebackers and just what you've seen from those groups as well.
Yeah, we got 6 guys rolling in there at linebacker. They're doing a good job. Tango McCauley's played here before, played last year, and Fred Veely, who we got playing at linebacker now, is in there. Bishop Burkholm. We brought a couple guys. Nolan Forsher will be a really good football player at North Alabama, a guy we brought in that came in here at mid-year. And then Brady Whitman, another guy. So we got about 6 guys rotating on the 2 inside spots. We operate out of 5 DBs, against normal personnel groups. So in the back end, I think we have 4 corners who are all battling really well. Nigel Thomas and Young and Navy Curry and Dallas Johnson, 4 guys who are learning how to play the way we want them to play out there, which playing scared at corners not a good life. So I think they're getting a little frustrated now about the techniques we're trying to teach, but we're gonna cover people. If you can't cover people, then days get pretty long in college football. So then at safety, we play with the 3 safety look, and some guys are coming, a lot of new faces in there, but some guys who have stuck out there like Chris Baker and Dominic Dixon at one of our spots are playing really well. Butler at our middle spot is a good player. So we got some guys at safety that can rotate, and those are kind of a mixed bag of pieces, and so really feel good about our personnel. It just comes down now to us learning the scheme, learning how to play together within the confines of things. I think we have a chance to be a really good defense.
Well, Coach, it sounds like a lot of things are coming together. It sounds like you've adjusted really well since January, and we're in full force. So, Coach, thank you for coming on today, taking some time out of your day to join us on the Roar Down, and good luck as you go through the rest of the spring.
Yep, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
all right, our next guest coming up in just a moment is Travis Partridge, the offensive coordinator. We'll be right back here on the Roar Down. All right, Lion fans, welcome back to the Roar Down here. UNA football, as we're talking some spring ball. We're kind of underway with full pads, all the good stuff, and we got both of our coordinators now. We transition to the offensive side of the ball. Travis Partridge is joining us. Coach Partridge, welcome to the Roar Down, and thanks for being here.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, let's start here. We kind of mentioned this to Coach Bowen, kind of a family affair with him, but it's a little different for you. We were at practice Tuesday. You were talking to some media. You had your daughter up on your shoulders. Your dad was able to come into town, and he's a head coach, so kind of hard for you sometimes to see each other, but it was his spring break, I understand. So
Yeah.
How was that, having your family?
Yeah, it's been good. You know, I think, my dad's on spring break there. He's a head coach out there in Northwest State, Oklahoma. Back on spring break, I expected him to kind of be in the office all week and hang out with us. He's way more interested in being grandpa. So I saw him at practice, and I think that's just about it. No, it's cool having the family around. My wife just we had our second baby girl, so she's about a month and a half old there. So busy times in the thick of it.
Yeah, absolutely in the thick of it. And I was going to say becoming a dad, but you're already a dad.
Yeah.
But going through that whole process again and doing that while transitioning to Florence, you haven't been here very long. I'm sure it hasn't been easy.
Well, no, my wife's a rock star. So I think she packed and moved while about 8 months pregnant. So we moved to Florence, found a baby doctor, had one doctor's visit, and then we had a child. So
wow,
that's takes a special person to do what she does for sure. I just coach football. I just coach a child's game, but no, she's the one that made it happen.
And Coach, you come down from Bowling Green. What went through the decision, and why North Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything else. It's a fit, it's timing, it's relationships, right? So as you're recruiting, those are the things you're selling to the kids. Those are how they're making decisions. And same thing for us from a job standpoint, right? There's so much transition right now in college football from the transfer portal to leagues, conferences, alignments. There's so much transition. So the people that are going to make it are the people that can adjust, right? And our thing was, I wanted to be around good people, and that's the first thing that I noticed about this staff is how good the people are in Florence as a community, and then how good the people are within the North Alabama athletics department too. So. You guys are kind of on the lower end of that. But
we'll work our way up.
Yes,
we've got a little bit of time.
Yeah, yes, still factor in, right? But no, it's been great. Florence is awesome. The campus is awesome. The athletic departments, there's usually when you're weighing pros and cons, there just hasn't been a whole bunch of cons.
All right, I think I'm about to go up here, depending on how you take this.
Okay.
So let's go back a little bit to your playing days. You were a standout quarterback, an amazing quarterback, record-breaking quarterback.
He says.
Record-breaking at Missouri Western, and it's kind of a small world. That's where Dr. Joshua Looney was athletic director, and obviously you got to play for your dad. And then just the journey, it took you to Delta State, took you to some other places. And so obviously there might have been some familiarity already with North Alabama. What did you know about the program before you got here?
Well, my dad was the head coach at Missouri Western for 20 years. So I had a kind of an outside view of Florence because that's where we're trying to get to. Right? We were trying to get to the national championship game here in Florence. So it was always that was the end game. That was the tip of the pyramid was to play a football game in Florence, Alabama, right? And then, my first job was at Delta State as a quarterback GA for Coach Cooley there, and we had a bad day in Florence one of those days, and then UT Martin played them twice, so it was a very familiar place, very familiar name, the brand of North Alabama football, and then obviously whenever Coach Dearman got this job 3-4 years ago, I followed North Alabama because of my relationship with a lot of people on the staff already, and Coach Dearman. So it was pretty easy. I didn't have to spend a whole lot of time. The joke, Coach Dearman made it seem like it was mine all the time, and then he told me, yeah, I interviewed about 6 or 7 people. I was like, oh, okay. But it was easy for me. He said, hey, when he called and said, it's yours if you want it. And I said, yes, sir. When do you want me? So it wasn't a whole lot of back and forth and negotiations, and I got to sleep on it. It was a pretty quick decision.
And Coach, let's dive into some football a little
sir.
bit. Let's start with your position. What you played the quarterbacks. What have you
Yeah.
seen from kind of the quarterbacks in your first few weeks here on campus?
No, I'm really encouraged by the quarterback room. I think, anytime, and like I said, we keep talking about this transition and the transfer portal and stuff like that. Every quarterback in every 6 months has to step into a kind of a different role, right? And what I was kind of waiting to see was Destin Wade. We'll start there, right? Destin hasn't really been his team, right? He's transferred here, transferred there. Obviously, he was the guy in high school, but even last year, it was bright spots, right? It was bright spots. It was injury, come back, bright spots, injury, and so it's been peaks and valleys for him, right? So his big transition was not talent. Can he do it? He can play. He can really play. It was okay. How do I hold my teammates accountable? How do I lead? And so half the stuff we talk about is less football and more leadership type stuff, because I mean you guys will see it. He's going to do things and make plays that I can't coach, or I definitely couldn't do it as a player. I'm a much better coach than I was a player. But for him, it was more leadership stuff. And through, I guess, 5 practices now, I have been very, very impressed with Destin Wade. His demeanor, his poise, obviously his physical tools. I mean, you just have to go to practice and see his physical tools. But just how fast he's picking up the offense, how fast we're already kind of on chapter 2 and 3, and we're not just playing on the paper now. We're kind of playing some football and anticipating some things, and he's been really, really impressive. And then, obviously John Austin's, hitting bombs, he says, in the baseball team.
Baseball.
No, I think the word is he can swing the bat, but he, he'll join us obviously in the summer once his baseball season's done, and then Banks and Ty, Banks Bowen, we just got done talking about him, and then Ty Watkins is the other quarterback. They're coming on well. I feel very, very fortunate for the quarterback room we have. And obviously when you get hired in December, that's sometimes you worry about that. Like, you take a job and, all right, what's already in the room? Well, it was already in a very, very healthy place, and then you add Banks Bowen, and it gets even better, right?
Yeah.
So that's a room I feel great about.
Yeah, and speaking of healthy, that was kind of the number one question a lot of our fans have had going into spring ball. What's Destin Wade's status? They know that he ended the season with an injury, and looks to me he's playing very well and extremely healthy. He's shifty, he's moving, and that's a really encouraging sign for fans to see.
Yeah, no doubt. No, he's probably not all the way 100%. And part of it is us protecting him too, right? So he could probably go faster or do more than we allow him to do. But he's close to 100%, and he's playing really, really well.
It's great to see. And, Coach, let's dive into the running back room a little bit. And one of the guys we're going to talk to today is in that room, a guy that you've coached, a guy that you know pretty well, Chris McMillan. Talk about what you've learned from the running back room and what it's like having this guy with us.
No, I'm glad he's here. He's I think he just woke up from his nap. But I'm glad he's here. It worked out with Chris. When I took this job and he actually got in the portal, we just kind of waited and see. It's like this transfer portal is madness. It really is. Like, there's kids that 4 years ago, 5 years ago would be FBS high level things. It's just so hit or miss because of the number of human beings in there. So in my mind, Chris is a very, very elite player. That we were fortunate that he was still available for us, and we, it happened pretty quick, Chris. It was, hey, what you think, Coach? Let's do it. Cool. See you in 4 days. There wasn't a whole lot of, wasn't an OV. There wasn't a whole lot of things. It was, and you get the sense of how hungry Chris is and his talent level, and Coach Dearman's coaching running backs for me. So that's a very, very high level running back coach. And I've seen Chris already take strides of even how good he was last year. Chris he'll take off. And then other running back wise, Rod Taylor, he was coming off an ACL, I think, last year. He's a bigger back, some physicality. He's worked hard on all the intricacies of playing running back. The guy that's flashed a lot is Jay Fletcher. He's really, really flashed. I think he redshirted last year for you guys. He's flashed. Get the change of pace guy. And then we got Jalen Calhoun, who came as a transfer at App State, coming off a knee injury there. And so we'll kind of see him and what he can do in the second half of spring. That's another room that we feel really, really excited about.
Moving on throughout the offense, let's go to the wideouts now. The wide receivers. Let's talk wide receivers and tight ends. Kind of what do you like from those guys, and what are we kind of going to see through the receivers this season?
And we'll start with staff-wise. I'm really excited about our offensive staff, right? Having Colby Ellis here with me. I actually tried to hire him at Tennessee State a couple times, and it just didn't work out. So I was really fortunate that he believed in me and believed in Coach Dearman and loves this place, that he would come back. He's doing a great job with them. Brought over Snap Reed. Snap was a puppy at Tennessee State when I was the OC there in 24. I was joking with him that the last time I saw him, he was a puppy, fresh, and then all of a sudden now he's a grown up a little bit a year and a half later.
Yeah.
But he's had a great spring. Another transfer, Xavier Johnson, was a transfer we signed from Memphis. Explosive. Jaden Perez, another transfer we signed from Oklahoma State. He's factoring in. And then the guys that were here, KJ Fields is solid as they come. He is a good football player. We'll have to move him around a little bit. He's kind of the heartbeat of that room a little bit. Noah Gregg just keeps making plays, man. He had 2 or 3 in the last practice. It's the same kind of thing from a role from him, right? Like, I believe he came here as a walk-on 2 years ago, got on scholarship, played well, but now he's one of the guys, and that's a different role too for those guys. And then, there's a couple guys that are coming back from injury in that room. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. I don't think I am.
It's a big room.
Yeah, Ethan Adberg is a transfer we signed from was it D3? I don't know.
D3, yeah,
Yes.
Adrian.
Yeah, Adrian. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. So you just moved up.
Moving on up, man.
You're him now. He's got a knee, so he'll be coming back from us. So that's a really, really deep room, and a lot of different roles and skill sets that are fun to utilize. And then tight ends, it's kind of a full circle moment for me. Coach Schurig and my dad had a lot of battles there in the MIAA. My dad's head coach in Missouri Western. Coach Schurig was at Washburn. I've played against Coach Schurig 4 times in my career when he was the head coach at Washburn. So I was really excited about joining the staff where Coach Schurig is on it, and he helps me immensely. He's those experienced coaches. They don't mind telling somebody, "Hey, I don't think that's true." I don't know necessarily like that, or I think that's great. And he's kind of my thermometer a little bit. I need more of this, less of this, and he's just an unbelievable resource for me. Tight end wise, we signed 3 of them. Connor Ruth came over from Tennessee State. He was kind of the same boat as Snap. He was a puppy in 24. He played well for Tennessee State last year, and he came over for us. Just Eli Sisson from Liberty, and then C.J. Bowman from Kilgore Community College there.
Yeah, Texas.
Texas. And so he's coming back from a shoulder. So we're really looking forward to, after kind of spring break, those 2 weeks, he'll be moving around a little bit too. So, and then there's some more pieces. Micah Christensen loves running into people. He's in that room. And so we got about 3 or 4 that are really, really multiple. And because that's the goal, right? You don't want to be so set that, hey, this personnel equals this, and this personnel equals this, and this personnel, it's be able to play simplistic from a schematic standpoint, and lots of pictures and lots of people doing those jobs. But and the tight end room is the room that gives you that flexibility.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you touched on it a little bit already with Coach Schurig, the history of him being at Washburn, you being kind of in the same conference, knowing him for a long time, and now he's on your staff, and it's amazing the staff that you have. But let's transition a little bit into the offensive line and talk about some of those players. And I think Colin Wright's definitely one of the big ones that's coming back, and you got guys like Noah Baltikoff still in the room, but a lot of newcomers as well.
Yeah, no, it starts with Colin. He's the leader in that room. 3-year starter, incredibly savvy, experience-wise. picks up an offense, translates it really fast. And then you got Noah Boltikoff coming back from an injury last year. He's a tough kid. He's going to factor in for sure at either guard or tackle spot. Transfer-wise, Will French, the center. I love that kid. He's not the tallest dude in the world, but he fights, he strains. He's a nasty dude. I like him. And then Levy Johnson. Obviously, we got very fortunate that his father coaches for us.
Michael Johnson.
He's another one that's, he is the sky's the limit for that kid, and as far as his talent level. A couple young tackles are playing great in the spring. Eli Young and John Nolan Lawrence are playing unbelievable. Eli Long. Sorry, I said Eli Young, didn't I? Eli Long.
You did, yeah. We knew what you meant.
Yeah, thank you. See, you're moving up. That's two pegs ahead of him.
Good job, Grant.
No, they have reps are gold, and especially for young linemen. It's such a developmental position, and they're getting more reps than they probably even want, right? And it's there. You've seen them take strides through this first week of spring ball, and we're really excited about that group. And getting a couple of those guys back from injury. Still probably going to add a name or two after spring ball. We're excited about that, and that's one thing that we're talking about is that potential word is cool, but it's also scary. Like, hey, we have the potential to be really, really good.
Yeah.
How do we put it together and how we move forward?
And Coach, we'll kind of wrap up with this. What does these next 3 weeks of spring ball look like heading into the summer?
Yeah. So we have today, right? And then we let them go for spring break, let them get them recharged. And then I believe we have 7 after spring break. And then we'll have about 2 or 3 weeks of this in the weight room. May, they have the majority of it off, and then we're rolling again in June. And then we play our camps pretty early, so it's June, July. Then it's going to be week 8 before you blink, right? But for us, spring ball-wise, we're still trying to find an identity, and not necessarily an identity with the plays we're running, identity of, hey, who are our leaders? Who are the alphas? What does this do well? What does he do well? What do we need to work on? Because I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but every offensive coordinator in the country are running very similar things. It's just where you steer it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you teach it? Where do you steer it? How do you package it up? And we're still kind of waiting, after after that spring break is going to be probably, the first 6 days are probably, hey, this is just our base offense. We can run this against anybody. Mm-hmm. And then those second week is, all right, we need to maybe push this in this direction. Let's see what this looks like. And there'll be some more, not experimenting, but running that different play or the same play out of a different personnel group or a formation. So lots of exciting stuff to come.
Well, Coach Partridge, we're excited to see it. We're excited for your offense and just to see how the spring wraps up and how it's going to go for you as you become the play caller. You are going to take over the offense. Coach Dearman kind of works for you in a way sometimes.
No,
as
don't
coaching the running back room.
Don't get me in trouble now. No, he always jokes. He'll be like, hey, I'm asking this question as the running back coach. And then he'll come to me, I'm asking this question as the head coach. So he's very distinct on, hey, these are the questions or these are the suggestions. If he suggested something as the head coach, it's probably more practice face-wise or scripts or logistics. Mm-hmm. If I'm suggesting things as the running back coach, let's debate it. You know what I mean? So it's a fun dynamic.
Yeah.
But, honestly, with Coach Dearman, I told him this when we were talking about me coming here is, ultimately you are a product of your environment and where you learn from, right? And I was in a place at Kansas back in 2019 where I was still trying to figure out who I was offensively. Every young offensive coach goes through it. And there's a lot of – now I may call it tomato, but I took it from Dearman. He calls it tomato, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
There's a lot of carryover from a teaching standpoint there. So there's things where I'm like, hey, Coach, you're the expert in this. Talk to me about how you've coached this. Or there's fun conversations and debates that go on in those offensive staff rooms. And whenever talent and ego are low, talent's high, ego's low, you get a lot of fresh ideas and improvement. Is there a more concise way to say this? and then that's been really fun offensively.
Well, it's been great to see through these first 4 or 5 practices, and got a whole nother few weeks to go. But, Coach, thank you for taking some time out of your day to join us here on the Roar Down and give us an inside look at your offense.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll be right back right here on the Roar Down with Chris McMillan coming up next. All right, Lion fans, welcome back to the Roar Down as we take an inside look at UNA football here in spring. We're about 4 or 5 practices into the spring. We'll have another one today. Then we'll have a few more weeks to go. But we're talking to some players here on episode 2. Benjamin Ray will be back next week. I'm Mike Ezekiel, your host. Grant Wakefield joining me to the other side. And our transfer player that we're talking to today, new running back, he will be a rising senior, Chris McMillan. Chris, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, Lion fans.
Well, it's an honor to have you on, man. You come over from Bowling Green. You obviously played with Travis Partridge, so you have that familiarity. You also played nearby at Northeast Mississippi Community College, and we were talking a little bit about your high school days down at Peach County High School and how great the state of Georgia is for football, and I'm sure there's a lot of fun debates that kind of go on amongst the players.
Yes, sir. We got about the best football in South Georgia, especially like Peach County. I put us number 1. All the dollars come from Peach County, you know.
Well, you certainly seem to be one of those. Got a lot of playing time where you were at all your stops, and now you're adjusting here at North Alabama as a senior. Talk about what it's been like so far, learning this offense and being part of this room.
I mean, this offense, this is my second year in it, so I'm kind of, I say, a vet to it now. Now I know everything. I'm trying to tell other people, trying to take on that leadership role where Coach Dearman and Coach Parshall want me to take on. So playing for Coach Dearman, it's like, it's amazing because I don't learn so much, like just not football, being a man, how to carry yourself. So it's been great. I've been loving it, Florence, Alabama.
And let's talk about that for a minute. You talk the second year in the offense. You kind of you said you've known the offense. You know what it's like. What's it been like trying to teach some of these new guys that you just met a few weeks ago? What's it like kind of teaching them and being in that leadership role?
You got JC Rod, you got J5. They catching on fast. Like even after practice, we all link up together, like just go over the offense, signals, all that, trying to see how we can play faster.
So it's funny to me that you know the offense a little bit better because you're familiar with the offensive coordinator that's coming in, but you also have players that have been here longer that are probably more familiar with the university and the community and fun things to do in Florence. So have you found those places to eat yet and the fun things to do in Florence yet?
Yeah, I tried out a few restaurants. I tried Mugshot. Mugshot was like number 1. I had got the smash burger. Like,
oh, yeah. There you go. We had that yesterday.
Yeah, it was pretty good to me. I kind of love this smooth town.
Yeah, and how are the guys kind of helping you get adjusted as you transition to Florence?
They doing a great job showing me all around. I'm still kind of using the GPS to get around. But they showing me, and I feel like we real good. We getting closer and closer. Like, and that bun we making, gonna keep chopping wood to get what we want.
And you're meeting new teammates. You're hanging out with them. All of that. What do you like most about this team?
That we're a big family, and just like Coach had said, we don't even know everyone's name yet, but we always break it down family. Like I can tell we're a great family, and the coaches care about their players more. Like.
Yeah, and that's really good to see. And you got a great offensive staff. And let's start with Coach Partridge. He just spent a lot of time talking about the offense, talking about you specifically and what he knew about you. Talk about your relationship with him and what kind of how he factored into your decision.
Me and Coach P, like we were locked in Bowling Green, so I kind of know his standard, and I know what he want from me, what the whole staff want from me to go get at least 1,000 yards. I gotta go do that. So I'm trying to go do that. So.
And with Coach Partridge and you come down here, what led you? What did you like most about North Alabama when you were kind of introduced to UNA?
Just like he said, everyone thought I was going to go bigger. But, hey, he hit me up. I'm like, I just really want the ball. Like, it was closer to home. My mom and my family can catch every game now. They ain't got to struggle trying to catch a game no more. So it's 4 or 5 hours away from home. They can catch every game. They were the main focus I wanted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not too far at all. But and one other kind of exciting thing that's going on at UNA, and as you're coming in, you probably saw the construction going on with the new Bank Independence Stadium. How excited are you to be one of the first players to carry a ball in that stadium?
It's amazing, man, because, like, you got to think about it. They building a whole new stadium, whole new everything. So it's a new team, new coaches. It's a new era. We're trying to go put it on. We're trying to go get what everyone wants, and that's that one goal, that ring.
And how special is it that you can walk out, you're practicing on a state-of-the-art turf field right now, but when you walk out of that locker room, you see the construction. How special is it knowing that just a few short months away you're playing in that stadium?
I actually park every day. I actually park right by it, so I see it every day. I'm like, ready for game one. Take on Stanford. Like we ready. We ready. We preparing every day, getting better at the small stuff, at the details. We got a lot of talent on the team. Like we just trying to get better than them little things.
Well, Chris, we know you're a busy guy. We know that you have a lot of football to get ready for, some practice coming up today, some film to watch. But the last thing I want to ask you as we wrap up, tell us about Chris McMillan, the player. How would you describe, if you had to use a couple words, like what are you like as a player, and then end it with how you are as a person?
I say physical and just a baller, just a baller, and ready to show the world what I can do, from catching out the backfield, running over people, making people miss, even just breaking a lot of tackles. I'm ready to show North Alabama.
Well, we're excited to see that physical run game, but also just tell us about you off the field. What do you like to do? What's your personality, and what are some things that you want people to know about you?
Off the field, I don't really do too much. Sit home, play the game, watch a little film, trying to see what I can get better at. Actually, I be hitting up D-Wade trying to go throw just to build that bun. So that's all been going on right now.
Is it 2K?
2K, that's the main one.
It's always 2K. I feel like.
That's the main one, man.
So 2K in football. I mean, that's what you want to hear.
That's it.
Well, all right. Well, Chris, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and welcome to UNA. Best of luck as you go through the rest of the spring, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, Grant, thank you for joining us today for the Roar Down. We'll have Benjamin Ray next week, and we're going to wrap up with Braden Rogers as well. Thank you, Brandy G, for running things behind the scenes. For Grant Wakefield, for Chris McMillan, I'm Mike Ezekiel. We'll see you next week here on the Roar Down. All right.